You see, comedy is under direct attack, and this is the prime example. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I talk a lot about feminism on this channel, and I have a lot of things to say about it that might upset a lot of different people. A lot of people might agree with, and a lot of people might sit on the fence. And I think with a lot of things that I actually talk about on this channel, it's important for me to remind the women who are watching that this is not about equality. This is not the argument here. Because of course, I'm someone who wants people not to be judged on their genitals. Like, I think most of us can agree, who gives a fuck? And that's why I wanted to really bring this up. Feminism was once extremely important for women. And for modern society as well. If you take a look back at the late 17th century, Mary Wollstonecraft penned the earliest work of feminist philosophy, called The Vindication of the Rights of a Woman. And this was in 1792, a whole different world to what we're used to now, but it was very important for her to write this book because it touched on one of the most important parts of feminism, and that was education. She argued that a woman should have the exact same education as a man. Now that is something that we look at now and go, oh, duh, obviously. But back then, that was something that was seen as radical. Now, Mary went on to pen many other different works that were used as parts of the women's suffrage movement to come over 100 years later. But the big part that she played in this was opening the discussion and trying to help women get to the point where they are now. I treat everybody equally. I think that's the only way to move forward in this world, but that is not what feminism is about anymore. And the reason I bring this up is because the video title is inflammatory. People will be annoyed, but 40% of the people that come to my shows or my subscribers are women, whether that's young women, middle-aged women, teenage women, whatever. They are females. And I don't want them to ever think for a second that I am arguing against them being equal to men, because that is not what I'm doing. But the modern feminism, this third wave feminism, and even fourth wave feminism, is what is attacking people. And it is rife in the community that I hold very near and dear to my heart, the comedy community, particularly in Australia. But first, there's this ridiculous story going around from a lady in America who runs a comedy club called Courtney Pong. You see, comedy is under direct attack, and this is the prime example. Young Courtney Pong runs a comedy club over in Boston. Now, she had these dudes on stage, and these dudes were telling jokes that she, it turns out, didn't find very funny. In fact, she said that these were so misogynistic, so anti-female, that she had to put a stop to it. So, what does she do? Courtney Pong, the club owner. Now, please, for a moment, put yourself in this comedy room. These dudes are telling jokes, people are laughing. She rings a bell and then says, no, no, no. She waltzes up on stage, takes the microphone, and kicks the dudes off the stage because it was too offensive. She then apologizes to the entire audience and offers refunds to the customers. The refunds happen to be for the 4 customers. Yeah, there were 4 customers, which says a lot about her particular comedy club. She copped enormous criticism for this, and rightfully so, particularly after on Twitter, she ended the big rant about how she did this and she thought she was so amazing. That's why she put it on Twitter with, "I've never felt more alive than right now." But apparently she didn't hear any of the criticism because, I quote, "I was too busy to see the initial shots thrown because I was in a workshop teaching 25 Asian American women that improv and comedy is a place for them, even though it doesn't look like it yet." Okay, from a comedian. For anyone that doesn't know this, if you teach comedy, you suck at comedy. Those who can't do teach, there aren't any successful comedians teaching comedy. Suck a dick. There is a reason that right now in America, every big successful comedian that lasts is someone who doesn't curtail to the particulars of different segments of the population. And by that I mean someone who doesn't go, "Oh, I can't say that, it's too offensive." They're all offensive comedians, the big ones that stick around for long periods of time because there is a market for that. Now, I am in that market in two different ways. I am a customer of that market. I thoroughly enjoy offensive humour, whether it's racist, sexist, or whatever humour. I love that type of shit. But also, as a performer, I like writing those type of jokes. I've tried to write clean material. It fucking sucks. I hate clean comics. They bore me to tears. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, the Australian comedy industry is in absolute shambles. Feminism has taken a stranglehold of it and it has taken over. You see, it starts from the very bottom. The incessant circle jerk that is the open mic community is rife with these shit human beings. Like, I've been around that community a number of years ago when I was starting out, and everyone is just in there going, oh, just jerking everybody off, right? I'm so progressive. Oh, the future's female and all that other bullshit. Listen. There's a reason that they're all still in that room. There's a reason they're all still not moving forward. Because no one likes your comedy, fuckheads. It comes from men a lot too, and it's really funny to watch this. You see the soy boys, those type of guys, they get up and they try and pick up the female comics by appealing to them by being super woke and progressive. It's fucking gross. In saying that, it's funny, great, but there's no excuse for bad humour, and that's what we see a lot of in the Australian comedy industry. Take, for example, one of the leaders in the Australian comedy industry, someone who wins awards at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, is Demi Lardner.
Oh my goodness, I hope they do. Let's find out. Here I go. Where is the secret stash? Looking for the secret stash. Where is the box that to keep my secret stash in? Let's bloody find it. Which one of you's got it? Let me look for the secret stash. And in the car, have you got it, sir? And
this wins awards. This is the best we have to offer. Her and people like Hannah Gadsby, who it could be argued, and I have argued it several times, is the furthest from a comedian that could possibly exist. In fact, she is just a TED talker that for some reason has a Netflix special rather than just a TED talk. Demi Lardner is only in that position and on the telly because of the way she looks. She looks like a little boy, and that's why she's in that position. Hannah Gadsby wouldn't be where she was if she was a hot chick, not even slightly. There's another comedian that I know, I've met a couple of times. He's from where I'm from, and he pretends and acts like a gay man to get gigs. Like, what the fuck is that? This is why you see very, very few successful Australian comedians. And I'm not talking about Channel 10 or ABC successful or Triple J successful. Fuck that. I recently found out how just shit this community is. I was in Melbourne and the open mic community have been talking about it, and there are just shithouse chat groups all week on Facebook and stuff about how dare the Comics Lounge where I performed, who are actually really good dudes, how dare they have Isaac Butterfield on, oh, he's a bad dude. Fuck off. Fucking suck a dick. Melbourne's a shit fight is my point. They've even got a grant, right? They got this grant going in the Melbourne Comedy Festival to new performers, right? They go for new performers. If you're a new performer in the Melbourne Comedy Festival, you can get a grant which will really help you book your venue and start up your show, but there's one condition: you have to be a female. That hardly seems fair. But also for the ladies, they can even get an Uber home for free. Dudes have got to pay for Ubers because fuck you. They even offer 15.3% off tickets on International Women's Day because why? Because of the wage gap. That's why, Isaac. Oh yeah, that wage gap that definitely exists. What the fuck's wrong with you, Melbourne? The idea that you can't make fun of women is ridiculous. You can make fun of women, you can make fun of men, you can't make fun of anything. And I guess the question for a lot of women is, do we need feminism in comedy? And the answer is fuck no. You just need to be funny, cockhead. Feminism has no place in funny because funny makes us all equal. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East, me dick stinks. And I'll see you all very soon. Please excuse my man flu voice. I know, so that's just a sexist term. But anyway, toodaloo, bye.